Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Dan Blanchard with the Travel in Time with Dan show, where we mix travel with history, with leadership, and of course me, Dan Blanchard. Today, I am in Philadelphia here at what's called the Signer. Yes, if you can see that right behind me. All right, this is Philadelphia, Signer's Garden. Some people call it Signer's Park. I know they do have an exhibit in the National Constitution Center for the signers, which is really amazing. You should definitely check that one out. But here I am in the park in Philadelphia. It's right across from Independence Hall. Okay, and this is the residence that Gilbert Stuart house used to be. He's pretty much most famous for his Washington painting. All right. So now, when you look at this signer, it's a bronze statue. It's very symbolic, right? Look how he's like reaching for the sky, right? It's like divine. Like there's a higher power than like England's king and all that. So it's like divine. And it's also tough to tell kind of who he is. So it's a little bit of collective and a little bit of a head nod to some of the lesser known signers, which are pretty cool. And if you guys know, it was a big deal for them to sign, right? That was treason. Ben Franklin said, well, looks like we all better hang together. We're all gonna hang separately, right? So here it was. We had about 56 people signed. Not everyone signed. There's probably about 15 or 20 that didn't sign. All right, so a couple examples of them. You got John Dickerson of Pennsylvania. He abstained, but later he fought, right, in the war. Robert Livingston, he part of the Committee of Five. Like he went home before the vote took place. You got George Wythe. He left Congress for state business before the signing ceremony, right, because he was on a tight schedule, right? You had Henry Wisner. He supported independence, but was absent when the signatures were being collected. And of course, you got John Rogers, who does serve in Congress, but did not sign. So there's various reasons why they didn't sign. Some of them good, maybe some of them not so good. But again, you had 56 to sign, about 15 or 20 that didn't sign, all right? Now, this statue, as I said, it's kind of a head nod to some of the lesser known people, and it is on the property of Gilbert Stuart, again, famous for the George Washington painting. But the lesser known, pardon me, when they go through this and they say, okay, well, who is this? I'm not sure who this is. Who is this? And after a lot of research, right, they've come up, they go, this has got to be George Clymer. That's who that's got to be. He's definitely a lesser known, but should he be lesser known? I mean, this is his statue. He was a Philly merchant. He signed the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. That's a pretty big deal, right? But he's lesser known. Okay, like another lesser known might be like George Ross. And it was a brilliant legal mind in Philly. Sort of reminds me of like James Otis Jr. from Boston. But again, lesser known. So this is definitely like a head nod to some of the lesser known signers. Okay, now, pardon me again. Remember this. If you signed, it's treason. Not only are you going to be hunted down and killed and all your property taken, but your family too, right? Your family's not gonna have any property, not gonna have any rights, might be killed, might be jailed. So it was a big, big deal when you did something like this. And these brave patriots are gonna do this, right? So signing the Declaration was a big deal. It was scary. John Hancock signs it first. The other signers, well, they kind of wait a little bit. And then when the Constitution catches a little momentum, then they sign it, and that's the version that we are used to today with their names, a whole bunch of names all over it. But in the beginning, it was John Hancock was the signer, okay? Now, when you look at the U.S. Constitution, they signed that too, but here's the thing. It wasn't as dangerous. It wasn't like the King of England was going to hunt those guys down and kill them or anything like that, or their families, right? It wasn't as dangerous, but heck, you could easily alienate your neighbors. Pardon me again. You could easily alienate your neighbors by signing that, so that could have been a big problem. Now, when I do the Travel in Time with Dan show, I mix travel with leadership and with history and leadership and me, of course. You definitely want to come down here and see the Signers Park. It's very cool. All of Philadelphia is very cool. If you can get into the National Constitution Center, they've got an exhibit of the signers there, which is just fabulous, right? Life-size bronze statues, a whole bunch of them. I think 42 of them, and it's fabulous. Pardon me again. It's fabulous, all right? So what is, I've already shown you some of the history. What's the leadership here? Well, great leaders often take risk for principles they believe in. And that's exactly what the signers, the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution too. All right, everybody, thank you for being with me today and spending time with me today. The Travel on Time with Dan show, where we mix travel with history, with leadership. And of course, me, Dan Blanchard. Be back real soon with another great show somewhere else. Until then, you take care.